In this demonstration, I'm going to show the new scripting feature for graphic elements. And I set up a test project, and I created a couple of points here to manipulate so we can watch the script results. These are host tags, and they can have scripts, but there are no scripts inside of these host tags. So if we look at the graphics, select the first screen. These two checkboxes operate on those 2 points I showed you before. They just toggle them. This one operates on the one dummy. These two will be for this graphic element, this one for this one, and this is a counter, and I'll show you what that's about. But if we double click on this first one here, we see it still has all the regular animations, just none of them are enabled. If one was enabled, it would execute, and then the script may override it or it may not. So for example, you could have the pen animation while you still also had the script to do something else. So if we look at the script, it's a very simple script. We use one built-in function or command. It's called valve to input. If we want to see what that's about, we can look right here and it says valve to input. This function takes two Boolean inputs and then gives a truth table. Gives a 1, 2, 3, or 4 based on those values. It shows here an example. If we get the value from value 2 and then do a case statement and set the foreground color of the GE, which is the graphic element, this rectangle, to different colors. The graphic element inside of the script is always referred to as the GE, or graphic element, and then dot separates the properties or methods. We can see a list of all of the properties or methods here and insert one if we wanted to. So for example, we could select the ones that we wanted. Or we could type GE dot and a pop-up window will allow you to either use the keyboard or the mouse to select the one that you want to read or write. These CL color, CL yellow, CL green, are built-in predefined colors, and they are listed here under Insert Color, and you can just select a color. Or you can type COLOR dot or period, and you'll see all the predefined colors. You could also insert your own custom color if you wanted to. So for example, we could type GE dot, select the pen color, colon equals CLR dot, and select navy, and then that would be it. The pen color would be set to navy. There's a compile button here to check for compile time errors. Runtime errors are of course at runtime. We select there were no errors. We introduce an error. We select compile and it shows us at line 13. It doesn't know what ASDS, it doesn't know what this is. So if we delete it, select compile, everything's okay. We select OK. If we look at this one, this is the same as the brush animation digital. We could have just as easily selected the dummy one and then changed the color here. Would have done the same thing. In fact, it's faster to do it this way than with scripting. But if we look at the script for it, that's all it does. It checks the value of this point or tag. Depending on its value, it sets the foreground or background color to red or green. Scripts have counters, and they're used to count how many times the script is executed. If we look in the help file, it shows us here the property counter, and it starts at 0. The first time the window opens and shows the graphic element, the counter is set to 0, and you can use that to initialize some values or save some values like the original position on the screen. When the field reaches 2 billion, it rolls over to 1. If you close the window and open the window back up, it goes back to 0. So it's only on the first time the script executes each time the window is open. And I'm going to leave this line here for a second because I'm going to come back later and show you what happens at runtime if there's an error. So we select OK, select OK, save any changes, and now we'll start monitoring. And here's our runtime panel. Here's our graphic elements, these three. Here's the counter incrementing. This shows the travel because it's not opened or closed. We select open, we get to red. Back to travel, we select close, we get the green. We select both of them, which should never happen. We get the default condition. You can make this any color, pattern, whatever you wanted to. And of course, if we just change this one, it changes from red to green. And then this is the counter of the script for that WW graphic element that we had. So we're going to go introduce an error. We select quit. I want you to notice that the bad quality setting is set to cyan. So this is the color that we selected for bad quality. You can set it to whatever you want. But if we go into the graphics and go back to this WW, we notice that we comment that one out, comment this one. Text is a string and counters an integer. So we're trying to assign an integer to a string, and that won't work. If we look, what we did before was we did int to string. And if we look at that, it's a built-in command that all scripts have called int to string, and it just converts an integer to a string. It doesn't take any other values. So we select OK, select OK, save our changes, and now we're going to start monitoring. And we see that it's cyan, which is the bad quality color. If we go and look in the event log, we see that it says runtime graphics script error. The window is test, which is this window. The location is 184.456, and the script location is row 2, column 8. And it's got some kind of invalid class type cast. So we remember it's 184.456. We quit. We go back in and look at our graphics. If we move the mouse around, we see the position change. We get near 184.256. Ah, there we go, 184.256. We double click on it. We look inside the script, and row 2, column 8. So somewhere in here, row 2 was the problem. We comment that out. Select OK, select OK. Oh, did I forget something? Let me go look. Nope, that's correct. Start back to monitoring. And now it's back to counting again. The event log just has our last entry. So there's no error. So that's scripting. It can be used to do some things that are not covered via animation. In that one example, valve to input, what you had to do before was put valve to input inside of a host point, and then use the brush analog to, you'd set this to 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then say equal to, and then change your color here. So there's just a quicker way to do it for configuration. Overhead wise, not that much of a difference for just a small amount of data. And if you're not using this condition 1, 2, 3, or 4 anywhere else in the program, then it's fine just to have it here in the script. If you were using it on another HMI, for example, where you had both HMIs talking to a PLC, it would be better to do it inside of a PLC, so you only do it once and you get the state inside of the PLC. There's no conflict between the HMIs. If you were doing it 100 times on one screen, it would probably be better to do it, if only just the one screen, just here, because it's easier to copy and paste and change the tags. So it really is a balance of where you want to put the script for that kind of calculation. Okay, that's it.